Members of Canada's ruling Liberal Party will this weekend select a successor to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The frontrunner in the Liberal Party leadership race is named Mark Carney. He served as the head of the Bank of England before returning home to do the same in Canada. And he's seen as the best option to lead the country through a trade war with President Trump. Whoever is selected, the party's next leader, will then face their next test, which is a general election that has to be held no later than October 20th of this year. Mercedes Stephenson is here to discuss all of this with us. She is the Ottawa bureau chief for Global News. Mercedes, it's so good to see you. Can you explain, for those of us who live here in the U.S., the process by which a new prime minister will be selected starting on Sunday?
Thanks, Nancy. Great to be with you. And a great question that actually a lot of Canadians have right now, too. So this is going to be the election of the leader of the Liberal Party, which is only taking place by about 1% of Canadians. Anyone can join the Liberal Party for free to vote in this. It's not restricted, and it is the base that selects them. They can vote up until 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, and then all those votes will be counted. Because the Liberal Party is in power right now, the person who wins that, who we expect to likely be Mark Carney, becomes the next Prime Minister of Canada. And Canada has an interesting thing in our Constitution where our Prime Minister does not actually have to be elected. But that doesn't mean that won't be a political problem for Mark Carney, so we are anticipating an election sooner rather than later.
What should we know about Mark Carney? Why is he the front runner to become the next Liberal Party leader?
I think some of this is name brand recognition. Mark Carney was a very popular Bank of Canada governor. He presided while Stephen Harper was in power, who was a Conservative prime minister during the 2008 recession here. And what the bank did in terms of helping Canadians was seen as beneficial. So he's carrying that. He's also seen as a bit of a steady hand on the tiller and more of a business liberal, whereas the Liberals who've been in power here have swung more towards the left, more socialist type of policies than the Liberals necessarily had before. And this is a guy who's a Bay Street guy, so like our Wall Street. And then on top of that, he's seen as sort of this counter to Donald Trump. And that's had a significant impact in the polls here. The Conservatives were doing well, but as soon as Donald Trump took power and undertook some of the policies he has toward Canadians, we've seen a drop in Conservative support up here.
Yeah, I mean, that's been really striking. Does it look like the Liberal Party now actually has a shot of pulling this race off in October?
They do. They have a shot of pulling it off for sure. It's a competitive election, and frankly, none of us were really expecting that. We thought that the Conservatives were going to cakewalk through with a landslide majority. That was before Trump, and now everything has changed. We also expect, and we could talk about this more in a second, but that election is not going to wait until October because the Liberals might want to seize on the momentum they have now.
That's a good point. So how soon could they hold it?
It could be called theoretically as soon as Monday. Because the Liberals are in charge, in order to trigger a general election in Canada, they go see the Governor General, who is the King's representative in Canada, and ask for a dissolution of Parliament. Mark Carney probably wants to do that, maybe not immediately, but before March 24th, which is when our Parliament returns. And that's for two reasons. Number one, it prevents him from being criticized as an unelected Prime Minister without a mandate. Number two, he rides that new popularity that he has, and then on top of that, he doesn't allow the opposition to make the decision to take him down. And both opposition parties have said they will do that on March 24th. The Liberals have power, but it's a minority parliament. So we are expecting likely an early spring election here.
Wow, that's fascinating. So things could move really, really quickly. Mercedes Stephenson, thank you so much for the Canadian civics lesson. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You got it.